Now, my skill builder videos have been getting a lot of traction recently, and I figured that with this newfound fame and fortune, I would make a little VFX tutorial for how to use a lot of different sort of presets, kind of like explosion, shockwaves, sort of beams, all that. So first, and probably the most useful one, is how to create impact. So first things first, you're gonna want a little bit of a flare, like a boom, like whenever they get hit, because you see VFX coming out, as a little bit of a pop to it. So you see big windup. You can take a big windup animation like Hayen's Cleave and add a big finish animation like Yuji's like Final Black Flash. You can see if I were to hit somebody there, it's a little off, but you see what I mean, right? It adds a little bit of a pop. But another big concept is Shockwave, which can be pretty easily created just by using the Wind Expand VFX. And usually you're going to want to have about 5 of the circles, just because it's like the sweet spot of not too much, not too many streaks of wind. Also, you're going to want to put the opacity to 1. It just makes it come in a little bit smoother. Okay, so as you can see now, I added a little, just a little shockwave to the punch. And essentially that will just it's something, it adds like a whoosh. But if you want to do something better, what I recommend doing is actually taking this, copying it, making it a bit bigger, and putting it behind. So then you get something like this. It's like a wind tunnel where you punched. And if you want to make the effect even more, you can make it 0.4 and 0.5 and put the wind tunnel behind him. It sort of be like boom. And usually sometimes I will put a star in, so I'm gonna another VF visual, just a little finisher, just because it's like the cherry on top, So we got a star, positioning 5. But the thing is, you want to make sure it fits within the little shockwave, because then it's gonna look bad. So yeah, you can see it fits within the little shockwave. And to go even further, we make a star about half the size of the first one, maybe a bit bigger actually. And we make that yellow to sort of highlight it at a shine. Like, it's very subtle, but you can definitely notice it. So our move is kind of starting to come together. We have the wind tunnel, we have the burst on the hit, and then we have the star to add the highlight. But to go in another step forward, what we do is I need a wind streak. Yeah, a wind streak. Because you're like kicking up dust around you as you punch, and then you want to add one to the other side. So then you see, you get the little dust as you shoot out. And actually, if you want a bigger impact, which is what I'm gonna do, make them again, and then you position them a little bit more behind. That's 5. Then you go boom, you can see it complements the tunnel very well. No, 5. -5. Then you grab the rotation. You can make it like 10. -10. No, -15. Basically, the further you go out, the more you want to angle it inwards. So then it gives you that. Now that looks good. But that's only the impact of it. That's only the impact. What we also want is wind up. Wind up, I would argue, plays as much as an important part as the impact does animation. So you want to do that. And one that you're gonna see a lot is shine, and especially 2 shines at about 0.25 size. Yeah. And you want to put that on the hand that's moving. In this situation, it is the right hand. So we go right arm, shine. You see it has a glint, but we want to make sure the glint goes away by the time we will be throwing out the punch. So I'm going to do it 0.6. Usually you want to match it up to the amount of wait time, so in my case it's 0.6, but it'll depend on which VFX you use. Again, you know, you see sounds like charging up. It's very nice. Charge up into a kaboom. And another thing you can do is add some, really depends on you could add rough energy, cursed energy, all these other things. Flames is pretty good because it's like a charge up. We can actually make these yellow to kind of pop against or work with the glow. As you can see, we're gonna want to up how many flames there are though. So yeah, 5 is good. So as you can see, we have our wind up, our punch, which I'd say looks pretty good. But if you want to take it truly a step further, sound design is the way to go. Now, sound design is this whole other thing that I'm probably gonna get into in another video, but it is crucial to making good moves, because without sound, you know, you don't feel things. Like, yeah, you can see things, you're like, oh, that looks pretty, but like without the sound, there's no feel to it. You don't feel how hard the guy's getting hit if you don't hear a chicka chicka boom, if you know what I mean. But a lot of these core concepts can be applied to other moves. For instance, if you want to make an explosion, again, there's the wind up, the shockwave, the highlights with the energy sparks and the stars, like again the shockwave with the wind, the addition, sort of like not addition but like sort of the complement to the shockwave being the wind. In for instance, okay, so let's make larger one. So for instance, now we can see the wind up is looking pretty alright. I'm gonna add some more, a pretty good wind up for an explosion, just a self-destruct kind of thing. We want to make all these, all the weights 0.5 as I said before. So a lot of the concepts remain the same for the wind up. You know, the shine to create anticipation. We have the main VFX like the 360 wind to emphasize like a charge up. Then you have the flames to be like, oh shit, like it's kind of noticeable, but it's like, again, the whole cherry on top sort of aspect of the wind up. But then to make the actual explosion, which is the fun part. And so as you can see, many of the same concepts. We have a wind up, the emphasis, I already went all over all that, but the explosion, we have the Shockwave. We have the complement to the Shockwave being the burst. And then we have the main part, like the highlight being the clash VFX, which is this one. And we're gonna add a little cherry on top. For the cherry on top, the stars. The stars add a lot to it. So if we go into free cam, actually, I'm gonna show you. This is what the final VFX of the explosion look like. And as you can see, as retains the core concepts of wind expand to add a shockwave, complement to the shockwave, the burst, the sort of highlight being the clash VFX, which is the inner explosion. That's pure orange. And then the cherry on top being the 2 star outlines that we do. That is white and orange. Okay, so the core concepts that were explored today were the wind up having a shine for anticipation, and complementing the anticipation by having the main body parts have an effect on it that corresponds to what type of damage it's going to be. For instance, the punch had a glow and a bit of a highlight, and the explosion had the flames with the wind. And then the actual like impact were more the same, with the expansion being the shot, like the wind expand, the shot for the shockwave, the complement to the shockwave with the wind streaks in the punch, in the burst, in the explosion, the actual highlight of the explosion being like the stars that we used, because honestly I think the stars super underrated. And just being able to adjust the opacity and the time to be able to fade things in and out in a good sequence where it's not abrupt and it's actually satisfying. And I hope this tutorial helped a few people out who want to make their own movesets and how I make my movesets, because I will come out with a moveset very soon that actually relies a ton and has a ton of VFX work done on it. And so I figured I'd teach you a bit of the core concepts I use in that moveset. And anyways, that's it. Also, this is the 100 subscribers special. Thank you guys for 100 subs. Whenever I was making YouTube for like over a year, barely getting anything, and had to have one of my videos really blow up. Well, like for my standards, blow up out of kind of nowhere was a really pleasant surprise to see. And I look forward to entertaining all 143 of you as the time recording this video even more. So anyways, bye bye.